Hello, everybody. Thanks for joining us for this special live session. I'm Itzik Amiel, and we are here with this weekly sweet series, Switch It On, when we share ideas, insights, and inspiration, helping you as a professional to switch relationships to revenue, referrals, and reputation and stand out in your industry. So you're invited. We are live, and I can see you joining. So thank you very, very much. Again, we are live again. So you're very welcome to join. And if you're joining, as usual, put your name, let us know who you are, where you dialing from, so all our community knows that you are with us, and also me. And I can say, thank you, David, Diana, Alex, Marika, Sarah, Dov, Jenny, Ambalesio, Alberto, Monique, Sarah, Diana, Didel, Oren, all of you. Thank you very, very much for all of you coming. And I can see you joining again for so many countries, and I'm in purpose slowing down so you'll be able to join me. But today we're going to talk about something very interesting that I love talking about. I have so many aspects of it, but I chose one specific one because of the question I've been asked in the last mentoring and the last session I trained about, and I called it the client experience myth. And more about it in this session, but more about what I wanted to actually to do in this session is to help you out dispel the myths, not just tell you what are the myths, also dispel them, get out of them in order to create this client experience you really want to have in your firm for the success. Again, if you have any question during this session, you're also very welcome to put it in the chat that I'll be able to answer it as well. Otherwise, I'll continue sharing you the content. Now, as I said, based on the amount of times I was asked to keynote and professional service firm on client relationship, I can say that client experience is gaining importance also in the legal industry. Although I talk about it for years, but suddenly you see a pickup of the demand. And why is that? Because in the economy we live in, experiences dominant. And we know that all, right? If your clients love the experience with your law firm or with your accounting firm, they're more likely to stick around, and you are more likely to retain them for a longer term and even for lifetime. And a lot of you have those examples, but let's put a hand where it's starting from. But you see, but there are some misconception about how client experience is perceived by your clients, of course. Because according to many research that done also among professional service firms, 80% of law firms, if you ask lawyers or accounting firms, but also specifically lawyers, 80% of them are confident that they offer is excellent client experience in the firm. However, only 8% of clients agree with that. How do I know? Because I asked that and we're going to see research. But again, 80% of law firms think, well, 8% of the client, only 10% of clients agree with that. The rest don't even agree. So I'm not even talking about directives, all kind of things clients said about you because you solicited, you asked for it, maybe some of you pay for it. I'm talking about seriously if you ask your client. This really shows the gap in what clients expect and what they really get. Now, I agree that to deliver the best client experience, law firm or professional firm and lawyers must first understand what client experience is and how it affects their profitability and client retention, right? If you don't understand what it is, how will you be able to maintain it and even deliver a great client experience? But before you can do that, you need to know what isn't client experience. So with your permission, I want to dedicate this episode. I want actually to dispel 8 biggest myths of client experience, especially in the professional industry and more specifically in the legal industry. Okay, so let's start. Let's start with 8 myths, and I start with myth number 1, which client experience equal client services. Thank you very much for those of you joining. I can see you. Thank you. Yes, we are live. And we just started. So I'm just sharing the first myth. The first myth is client experience equal client service. You see, a common big myth is that client service is be all and end all of client experience. But that's not the case at all. Sure, client service plays a big role. It's the communication and assistance between the client and the law firm. But client experience is so much more than just client service. It starts from the very first point of contact. See, whether that's during onboarding or the point you're hiring your services, or even before the decision to hire you is made, the client experience process started. And it doesn't stop there, right? It continues even after the client decided to hire your services. So have in mind that the client service not equal client experience. The first myth, it's much bigger than that, and that's what many people missing. And before I continue the next myth, again, I want to say hi to those of you joining me. And we talk about client myth. I want to dispel them today. Client experience myth we have within professional firm. And again, if you're joining, you're welcome to ask your questions and put your name in the chat so we know you're joining us. Again, we're speaking about CX myth and how to dispel them. And I'm coming to the second myth I want to share with you today. And myth number 2 is satisfied client equal loyal client. Again, satisfied client equal loyal client. See, when it comes to client experience, it's not a one-time thing. It's constantly changing. And let me tell you, it plays a huge role in determining how loyal client are to a brand. But here's the thing. You cannot always guarantee that client will have the same experience across the board within a law firm or any organization. Because each client may have a different experience, right? I think I agree. And unfortunately, just one bad move can really throw a wrench in things and disturb you see the whole flow of communication, which in turn can lead to a reduction in loyalty of your client. So it's important to keep that in mind and always strive to provide the best client experience possible, because when you have client experience, you may get loyalty, but not necessarily it goes together. So again, client experience or client satisfaction not equal client loyalty. It's much more than that. Okay? Ready for the next one? Okay, so the third myth number 3 is we know that what our client want. I heard it so many times with so many professional firms. Oh, Itzik, don't tell us. We know already what our client wants. One of the biggest obstacles to providing truly understanding client service is the belief that a firm, because of its history and experience, they think they already knows exactly what client wants and don't want. Now, it's easy to fall into the trap of thinking that we don't need to bother with finding out what our client truly want and need right now, because we've been around for so long, right? You've been around your firm for so long, so you already know it all. How many firms are talking that's what their attitude, that's what they think. They're not doing it every time checking. What is the client? Yes, even the client that used you for 20 years. They need change? Did you ask them? You're just assuming things. But here's the thing, every law firm at some point has made the mistake of thinking that they could skip the important step of really understanding client needs through client visioning, what we call it, right? Or move straight to implementing new processes and channel and even new tools you're buying out. There's AI excited for clients, getting excited, and you think, hey, we've been in this legal business for almost 50 years. We knows what client, we know better what our clients want than anybody else. Really? Check it out. Because the truth is, it's important to keep in mind that client needs and wants are constantly evolving. And that's why it's essential to stay in tune with them all the time. And if you don't do it, there won't be a good client experience. And guess what? The client will leave you. And you guess, why did they leave me? Oh, they've been with me for a long time. Here we go. And by the way, when I help a lot of firms to create this client experience, one of the ways to take away clients from other firms is to create client experience that the client don't experience in the current provider. So although they are with you 20 years, it's very easy to take them away with amazing client experience if you stand out with it. Ready for myth number 4? Okay. Remember, if you have any question, ask it right now in the chat, because I would love to answer your question. So myth number 4 is clients wants to be wowed. How many of you think like that? As you can imagine, clients don't want to jump through hoops when it comes to really working with your firm. They want the process to be effortless. And I know it sounds like that, not as exciting, as amazing, but trust me, the way they really impress client and provide a fantastic client experience is by making it easy for them. Make it easy for them to find the answers, to make decisions, and work with your firm. So the key is to truly create great client experience is not to make everything wow. Yeah, you need to have, but if everything gonna be wow, at the end, nothing will be wow. So be careful with that because that's not the goal to amaze your client. That's not client experience. It's to make it simple, approachable. Because when the confused mind take action, guess what? They stay for a longer term with your firm. Again, hello to all of you joining Eric, Bond, Bakey, Baker, Morena, Dancing, Alando, Omar, Mohammed, Bargit, and then thank you very much, David. Hello. Thank you. I can see you joining. Thank you very, very much for that. And I know it's important subject, so stick with me because I promised to share 8, and I'm only on the 5th. So the 5th myth I want to share with you about client experience today is the myth that says client needs are met. We did a good job. Many firms think this way. So when they met the client needs, they think they did a good job. Providing client with what they ask for is only half of the battle. To truly build a great client experience, a great client experience because you want to stand out, it's all about how you make them feel, right? From the first point of contact with your firm to the final interaction, it's all about the experience. And that's include everything from the tone of voice your employees using, the appearance of your facilities, if you didn't think about it, the accuracy, the reliability of your systems, to your availability and the speed of service. All of those things and more go into client experience. And all of these little things come together to shape your client perception of your firm brand. So it's not just about meeting their primary requests or what they need. It's about all the little interaction that make up the overall experience. And trust me, it's the little thing that truly make a difference. And those of you who know our mentor help your firm know what we did in order to shape, to make this little creation that make this client experience a wiring for your client. And they'll tell about it to others. And of course, helping you becoming yourself or helping you brand yourself even better. Yes? Ready to proceed? Again, question ask me because I continue till the end of my content because I want your question. So if you have a question, you're doing something doesn't work, you tried, it didn't work out, let me know right now because we want to fix it in your firm. So if you're ready to proceed, the next myth, number 6, is myth number 6 is no innovation, no client experience. That discussion I had so many times, at least in the last 2 years. The firm thinking, if we don't innovate, we're going to change here, we're not going to reach this client experience you're talking about. A lot of law firms think that if they are not constantly innovating, they're not providing a great client experience. But let me tell you, that's not true. Just throwing new technology like VR, AI, and so on, as a person who involved in it very much into a mix without focusing on the basic of client experience, won't make much of an impact for your client. Many law firms often get caught up and spending a lot of money in trying to have the latest and the greatest technology, and that's all what they're doing all day long, thinking about technologies. I can improve. But the truth is, the core of client experience is all about optimizing your current practices and improving communication. Why don't you invest time and money there? And that doesn't always require fancy new innovation. Yes, there are shortcuts, but you don't need to start with the innovation. There are many ways that if you teach your people to communicate better and clearly, and by the way, that's part of my job, right, in training within firm. But if you do it right, you can shift the client experience and technologies can come after. It's important to remember that sometimes the most impactful changes are the simple and straightforward one. I can tell you a story because I know I'm training a lot of also call centers, nothing to do with professional services. I did it 4 years ago and I keep doing it. And as you know, many of you calling companies, airlines, hotels, and want to reach the client service. And as you know, a lot of those companies during the years start putting a lot of innovation, part of it, a chatbot. How many of you there frustrated because you cannot reach a human being? You cannot talk to a human being. You don't want this chatbot anymore. Now, I see a lot of firms talking about let's create our own AI, our own chatbot, help our client reach more clients. Hello, you were 10 years behind everybody else because you know what happened now in call centers? They're going back to bring the human touch. They're going to bring back the human services because people, the clients, needs it. Your clients need it as well. It's not the innovation that make the deal. It's the client experience, the human touch that make the client experience with your firm amazing. So don't forget. The next myth regarding client experience that I want to dispel for you today is number 7. People saying to themselves, firms saying to themselves, our client and the needs are unique. They are unique. See, that's a common misconception that client needs vary greatly depending on the firm or industry or maybe even location. But the truth is, most clients, and you know because you're clients of other companies, other industries, most clients have similar needs regardless of the industry or location. They all want responsive service, right? They want to have easy, timely access to their partners, correct? All your clients. Sure, within the industry, different client segment may have slightly different priorities. For example, clients of an accountant may place more emphasis on a precision than clients maybe of, I don't know, a hairstylist, a barber. But the need for precision is shared by both. In reality, only about 30% of your client needs are unique to a very specific industry or your client set. But majority of the client have the same needs. So the next time someone says to you, "Oh, but legal industry is different," remind them that it's important to first identify the 70% of the common element of a great client experience before delving into these unique aspects. So don't go to the unique aspect where 70% at least is very common. Okay? Again, welcome to everybody joining us. You have a question, ask it. We're speaking about today about client experience myth, and I'm trying to dispel them for you. And I'm actually sharing now the last myth, number 8, which is client experience is always the same. Have you heard that before? Client experience is all about the human touch. It's not just about numbers and statistics. See, people, all of us are emotional creatures, and we react differently to different things. See, a website, for example, that one person loves, another person may hate, right? The font, the color, the layout, even the name of your firm can all make a difference in how client perceived it. Every client is unique, and their experience will be different. So you cannot please everyone with one solution. Client experience is not a one size fits all approach. You all know that. So it's important to keep in mind that what works for one client may not work for another. And that's what we need to create client experience uniqueness within the firm. And that's exactly why we could stand out. Why when I teach personal branding and branding of the firm, that's why it's one of the way to do client experience in a unique way, make you stand out of the crowd because of the difference between your clients and client of another firm. So these are the 8 myths I wanted to share with you today. I'm waiting for your question, but that's complete my list. Biggest myth of client experience, especially in the legal industry and the accounting industry. I hope and I trust that you got insight about it. And I want to summarize a great session and what I'm sharing with you while waiting for your question. I want to share with you a quote inspired by Damon Richard, who said once, your client, let me read it for you. Your client does not care how much you know until they know how much you care. And you probably heard before again, you want to quote again, your client doesn't care how much you know unless they know how much you care. And that's actually defined the core of amazing and great client experience. So now, my friends, if you have a question, type it right now in the chat. But it's your time to take action and implement what you're hearing from me today. And it's about client experience and all these myths that maybe it's time to dispel them. I trust you got some interesting insight about client experience myths and how to dispel them. And of course, if you need my help in implementing it in your practice, or if you just want to learn more about how to build winning client relationship, that's exactly what we do for our client, professional like you or me around the world. I mentor them, I train them, and I even doing the work for them with the done for you services. So send me an email or private message to see how can me and my team help you. Also, if you're planning, by the way, a retreat, and I know a lot of you planning with it in the coming months, and want to make a retreat more effective and more memorable, and be very direct and honest with yourself, I'll be happy to help. So get in touch, and I'll share with you what we could do together. Next episode, We have another amazing top expert to discuss new practical strategies to grow your practice and build better relationships, reputation, and referrals. Again, if you want to make sure you don't miss any one of the weekly Switch On interview series, follow me on LinkedIn or go to the Switch Hub website, and here's the link for you, hub.thesuite.ch, hub.thesuite.ch, and where you could find, of course, you could sign up and get a lot of business development strategies and tips, but also check and register to one of my new online courses and live workshop, a lot more adding there. So if you want to find more information, go over there. And you're very welcome again to send me a private message or an email to ask your question and see how can I be of value to you and your practice. For now, I want to thank you, each one of you again, for joining us. It's really a pleasure every time to be here and to share with you knowledge when I can, of course. When I'm not traveling, I'm here with you almost every week. So thank you for that. See everyone next Tuesday, 6 p.m. Central European Time, 12 p.m. Eastern Time, 9 a.m. Pacific Time. And remember, it's never too late to switch on and upgrade your client experience. So until next time, everybody, thank you very much and see you soon. Bye for now.